What's up, everybody? This is JoshyyRed, and today we're diving into something that's honestly pretty wild. A microphone that can pretty much do it all. Now, I'm talking about the Comica EJoy D10 Pro. Now, listen, when I say this mic is like a Swiss Army knife of audio gear, I'm not exaggerating. This thing has wired, wireless, XLR, USB-C, RGB lights, EQ presets. Basically, if a microphone could show off, this is the one. But let me slow it down a little because I'm going to walk you through everything I've learned about this mic after putting it through the ringer, recording music, Zoom calls, even trying to use it when my kids are screaming in the background. And spoiler alert, it handled that better than I did. So first off, let's talk about the build and the design. The D10 Pro is lightweight, only around 228 grams. So it's not some bulky beast that's going to knock over your boom arm. But don't let the weight fool you, it's still solid. The body itself is made up of mostly plastic, which keeps this light, but the base material for the stand is actually a really nice weighted material. That part feels premium, and honestly, I wish they carried that over to the mic casing itself. Compare that to something like the Shure MV7 with its full metal body or the legendary SM7B, which feels like it could double as a blunt weapon. And you'll notice the difference right away. Still, the Comica doesn't feel cheap, just a little less rugged. And of course, it's rockin' gamer-friendly RGB lighting baked in. Yeah, it's not necessary, but I mean, come on, who doesn't like a mic glowing like Iron Man's arc reactor? It makes it feel like your stream is one RGB strip away from a spaceship cockpit. The RGB options are genuinely fun too. You can flip through the different effects and color modes that match your setup or your vibe. Now, the magic here is really in its versatility. You got 3 different modes: XLR, which we're using to plug into the camera, USB-C, and wireless. And let me be real with you, the wireless option was the main thing I was super interested in, and it did not disappoint. On Zoom calls, on the receiving end, there was no lag at all. That's huge. Check out this clip. We're here with Bosco, and we're in a Zoom room right now. And right now we have the Shure MV7. Okay, the Shure MV7, this is the typical dynamic microphone that I've been using for Zoom calls and everything. All right. Just for the size comparison, very similar. The beauty of this thing is we have this plugged in with no cable, which I think is the big selling point here. We're gonna swap over to the Comica EJoy. I want to get your initial reaction here. Now we're officially on the Comica EJoy D10. Ooh,
hey,
I like that look.
that's pretty clean.
Clean, huh?
Yeah.
Is there any lag right now in my, like when you see my lips talking and hearing the audio? No lag, really?
No lag.
That is wild. Now, compared to my MV7, the Comica actually sounded crisper and cleaner on the receiving end with less room tone, so less reverb coming through. The MV7 tends to pick up a little bit more of that reverb, while the Comica tightened things up. That blew me away and my buddy, as you saw. Now, monitoring through headphones is where the trade-off shows a little bit. In wireless and USB mode, there is definitely a slight lag. Now, it's not terrible. Honestly, it's better than other wireless mics I've tried in the past, but it's still there. Hardwiring to the computer, though, like with any mic that has a headphone jack, will give you 0 lag and super clean monitoring. That's always the gold standard, but I was honestly surprised at how little delay there was in wireless mode. It was definitely usable if you're ending up using the headphone jack straight out of the microphone, which I don't typically do. But if you wanted to, the lag's not terrible. So battery life, it's absolutely solid. You're looking at about 45 hours if you turn the RGB off, and around 25 hours with it on. And let's be real, most of us are gonna leave those lights on just because it looks so freaking cool. But even then, 25 hours is plenty. That's more than enough for a marathon of gaming sessions, a podcast recording, or in my case, recording this video while my dog kept barking at the mailman for about an hour straight, which you didn't hear because it's suppressing the noise around us. Now, controls. This mic isn't leaving you guessing. You've got 4 levels of gain control on the back, 3 EQ presets, a mute button, and real-time monitoring. The gain switches work, but personally, I found them a little awkward. I would have loved if this big knob at the very top, which right now controls the headphone volume, actually controlled the gain instead, and then they could have swapped those back switches for headphone levels. Still, it's nice to have onboard control at all. Speaking of EQ presets, let me break them down because they're simple but effective. Now, if you notice when I'm recording directly into the camera right now, I actually don't have the mic turned on. It uses a line feed to go directly in. I don't need to actually power on the microphone. But speaking of EQ presets, let me go and fire this bad boy up so we can check them out. And you can see us firing up. We'll see the lights turn on. There we go. We got that beautiful RGB ring. So on the back here, we have this little EQ button, and the minute you push it on, you hold it down. So let me break them down because they're simple and they're a little effective. So orange mode boosts the bass. That's what you should be hearing now. Think more low-end warmth in your voice. Blue, when you push it once, is the neutral setting that's balanced across the board. And the minute you go to green mode, the green is bright, lifting the highs and making you cut through a little more in a mix. Now, are these huge night and day changes? Honestly, in my experience, and you probably heard them as well, no. They're slight boosts, but in my experience, not really noticeable enough for me to use them consistently. I keep mine mostly neutral or bright if I'm using the EQ settings, or I'll just turn off the EQ so I do all my EQ in post. Now let's talk about noise handling. It's using a cardioid dynamic capsule, which basically means it focuses on your voice and rejects background noise. And as you can see, in a way, the voice cuts out pretty quick. Now it does have an additional noise cutting feature, but in my testing, we didn't really see a huge difference with that feature, at least not in a quiet environment. That said, compared to my MV7, the Comica picked up less room reverb, which honestly is a big plus for anyone recording in a normal home setup without soundproofing. Now, let's stack it against the Shure lineup for a second. In XLR mode, the Shure SM7B still has that legendary warmth broadcast sound, but it's picky. You need extra gear to drive it properly. The Comica D10 Pro is plug and play, way easier to get up and running. Compared to the Shure MV7, which has both XLR and USB, the MV7 edges out slightly in build quality and polish on the USB side. But you see, here's the kicker. The MV7 doesn't give you wireless freedom. The D10 Pro does, and it nails it. Honestly, in a lot of scenarios, this mic could replace my MV7. Out of the box, it's incredibly easy to use. So, let's break down how this fits into a few different setups. For podcasters, this mic makes life easy. If you're podcasting solo or with a small setup, USB mode gets you rolling instantly. No need for an interface, no crazy setup, just plug in and go. And if you're more advanced and want that polished sound, flip over to XLR and pair it with a mixer. It adapts as your podcast grows. Wireless mode even lets you step away from the desk if you're recording something more dynamic or interview style. For office video calls, this is where wireless mode really shines. On Zoom or Teams, it's crisp, it's clean, and people on the other end won't even hear that echoey room tone you get with a lot of built-in mics. And you're not tethered to your desk. So if you're someone who likes to stand up, move around, maybe pace while you're talking, this mic follows you without missing a beat. That's a huge upgrade for anyone who lives in virtual meetings like I do. For music artists, here's where things really get interesting for me. I tested this mic recording a song, and it absolutely held up, especially if you're traveling. Check out this sample when comparing this mic to my Shure SM7B for some lyrics I put down.
Pulling up in an Elon Musk. I'm electric, that's efficient, but I blow it up. Big stacks, feeling like $1 million, but I invest the coin like I'm saving up for lunch, yeah. Pulling up in an Elon Musk. I'm electric, that's efficient, but I blow it up. Yeesh. Big stacks, feeling like $1 million, but I invest the coin like I'm saving up for lunch. Pulling up in an Elon Musk. I'm electric, that's efficient, but I blow it up. Yeesh. Big stacks, feeling like $1 million, but I invest the coin like I'm saving up for lunch. So many doubters do laugh, but now they hushing. Same ones thinking that it's all just dumb lucking. Sky Tower, I just architect and engineer my own luck. Now my luck is made in how I get the beat to go dumb.
It's lighter than the Shure SM7B, so if you're carrying gear with you on the road, that's a huge plus. For home recording sessions, if you already have a larger established setup, I'd stick with it. Like I'll probably continue to use my Shure SM7B. But if I'm traveling and want to lay down vocals or track an idea, I have zero reservations about using the D10 Pro. It's that reliable. And out of the box, it impressed me with how well it captured clean vocals on the go. But let's also talk about who this mic is not for. If you're a professional studio engineer, recording artist, chasing that $1 million record quality, this isn't going to replace your high-end gear. If you need absolutely zero latency monitoring all the time directly from the microphone, you'll probably want to stick with hardwired solutions. And if you're someone who just can't stand plastic builds and wants everything to feel tank-like, you might be left wishing for more premium materials. Basically, it's amazing for creators, gamers, podcasters, streamers, and office warriors, but it's not a magic bullet for everyone. All right, impressive mic. And what are the pros? Well, there's tons of them. Wireless mode is rock solid with no lag on calls. XLR mode gives you pro-level audio. RGB lighting that makes your setup pop. Crisp, clean sound with less room tone compared to my MV7. Easy to use EQ modes. Orange is your bass, remember. Blue is your neutral and green is your bright. And the stand has a strong bass material that feels premium. Cons, there are a few worth mentioning. Monitoring is delayed when using wireless and USB, though it's not terrible, and monitoring specifically through the microphone itself. The build is mostly plastic on the mic body. I would love the metal feel from the bass to be carried over into the build quality of the mic. Gain switches on the back aren't as intuitive as a knob would have been, like we have the knob here. And noise cutting wasn't super noticeable in my tests. Overall, I'd say this mic hits the sweet spot for creators who want flexibility. The wireless mode alone is impressive enough to win me over. And when you add in RGB, EQ options, and the easy setup, this thing really surprised me. Honestly, it could replace my MV7 in a lot of situations. And even for music recording on the road, it held up way better than I expected. The name though? Comica EJoy D10 Pro. I mean, it definitely brings me joy, but do we really need the EJoy part? Maybe just call it the D10 Pro and have joy in a box be a subtitle. Comica, call me. We can work on this branding together. And just so we're clear, because I have to say this, as an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. So if you decide to grab this mic using the link down below, it helps support the channel at no extra cost to you. So what do you guys think? Would you rock a wireless XLR combo mic like this, or are you sticking with your tried and true Shure setup? Drop a comment, let me know, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Before you go, make sure you tap that like button, pound that subscribe button like you mean it, so you continue to get more awesome content. Ring that bell so you don't miss future reviews. Got more gear coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. All right, that's it for today. I'm JoshyyRed, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.